Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to the Slowest Blitz, where we are playing Asphodel. It's turn 78. Got some stuff going on. Managed to see a couple of interesting fights on other individuals, and we're still dancing around. Man, we got some more stuff coming in from Naba. A dire portent goes up as I believe this is Pyrene. Throws up Well of Misery. Yeah. So, we have, man, and this is kind of what I've been waiting for, right? The Frost Father actually magic phases onto one of our roving armies, and he does it with my own units, and I love it. And I assume he's just gonna, yeah, time stop and arcane domination us to basically take another fucking army, and I love that. That is so cool. Oh, does he do it? Hey, he gets pretty well. It gets pretty well. You love to see it. How much will he keep? A little bit. Okay, the Etten Mandragora does get off the field, which is probably decent, because we do have a retreat path. So he does retreat successfully. The two Dryad Hags do retreat successfully, so there is that. He picks up 25 units. Net gain. Pretty good. So, fun stuff there. We also are the victim of an assassination attempt. We gotta stop recruiting people over here if we're not gonna patrol it out, which we can't patrol it out anymore. But, it's what it is. We get sniped there. We get attacked in Imicton. So, this is why we can't patrol it out. That's a lot of Knights of Avalon. Interestingly, these guys are not all blessed. This is just like a big stack of Knights of Avalon. So, potentially something we can do there. We get to see Ulm attacking against Pyrene on the capital. So, we've seen this Pyrene army before. Bunch of the Demon Knights, quite a few Frost Fiends, some Emerald Knights, the Mouflon guys. Some Storm Demons in here, and a bunch of very, big ticket casters. A Golem, some Devils, Phaeacian, a bunch of his big Acrobelts, a Fairy Queen, etc., etc. So, this is a very scary army. What has Ulm sent out to mess with them with? We have Master Smith with a Fire Gem. This one is kitted out with an Air Gem. Nothing there. Air Gem. So what is the play here? We've got Storm Autocast. We've got some Phoenix Pyres. We've got some some Air Elementals, Earth Power, Phoenix Power, Earth Power. What are they doing here? I wonder if this is just like a... Oh, there we go. Gifts from heaven. Oh. Yeah. That had some decent hits. This does burn gems and also risk blowing up some mages. Pretty good, honestly, for what they're losing here. Okay, now what is the actual toll? So, loses an Adept of the Silver Order, loses 5 Master Smiths, only one of which really had any gear or anything like that. What does he take out? He takes out, unfortunately, not that much. He took out a single Sorgina, 3 Demon Knights, 2 Emerald Knights, a Living Statue, a Sprite. He did take a bunch of gems off the top, but that probably isn't going to matter that much. We watch again. Unfortunately, those gifts from heaven just didn't have the contact. See, like, that is one of the ones, that's the one that deleted the Sorgina. It just didn't kill anyone else, unfortunately. It does look like it killed the Fairy Queen in this particular version, but that is not the case. Yeah. So this could have been more damaging, but unfortunately it just was not. Still burned a lot of gems. Had the chance of popping someone. We get hit in Trotturn by a bunch of barbarians. The eternal annoyance that has been Trotturn. We have an Etten. Fucking kitted out. Holy shit. What is this guy? He's a death mage? Nog the King and the Clown. Or Etten King. Brought to the King of Man for execution. Is this actually a legitimate, like, man hero? That's weird. I don't know that I've ever noticed this guy. That's kind of interesting. He has his own retinue of Tower Guard? That's wild. Well, he's definitely going to win this. It's just interesting to see him. Very interesting to see him. He is stupid. Oh no. That's fun. That's quite fun. He just kind of like walks around stiltingly. Okay, we also get attacked in Monarch Woods. Bunch of Knights of Avalon. Got a little bit of PD here, it's not gonna matter. Okay. So nothing happening there. We attack in Faraway Sea. Not a lot of PD here. So this is good. Because it means we will probably win. Mannequins really aren't good underwater. Okay, we win there. That is another temple raised, so that's up to 1,800 worth of temples raised, which is fun. We get attacked in Banded Hills. Just single PD there. And then we get to watch a big fight against Nabah and Agartha. So, this is in Mountains of Mist. This is the big Nabah army that is thrusting into Agarthan territory. Bunch of, like, you know, bait out in front. Pretty big amount of blood slaves here. We got a bunch of vampires involved in the mix. Fair amount of Janguard, fair amount of the Adites. Got some forest giants and hill giants mixed in, which is kind of interesting. And then has an archdevil. I assume the forest giants and hill giants are probably Mind Blast bait, right? They are extremely high HP, low MR, so any Olms will be likely to target them. And there are a few Olms here. Agartha is packing quite a few Olms, quite a few of the Sentinels, a fair number of Golem Crafters are here. He's got a couple of his big Oracle of Ancients here. He's got a couple of the Olm Sages, Adept of the Iron Order. He's got a Golem here. So, you know, this is a fair resistance, not a crazy huge resistance considering what he's facing off against, but a fair resistance. What are we looking at? bunch of life for life. And that deleted just sections. Holy shit. Hold up. Did it actually delete sections? It didn't. No, it didn't. Bunch of imps coming in, some group barkskin stuff, some quickness stuff. Anti-magic up. Storm up. So Steel Slice Warriors over here as well. Furious Warriors. Bunch of gift. There's just a crazy amount of like buffing going on back here. This guy is in the back. Got Relief out. We've got Light of the Northern Star out. This is kind of less favorable, honestly. These giants don't have a lot of attack density, and they take up a crazy amount of squares. What the fuck does that even mean? They take up an entire square. My brain. Ooh, that could be bad if he gets stuck here with all of these guys ready to do evocations. They're a little far away is potentially part of the problem. Yeah, they're dying a fair amount in here. Yeah, I don't know how effective oh, that guy. How'd he get up there? Is he it's so difficult to actually, yeah, he's flying? Did he get flown over there first? Mists of Deception, Wailing Winds. Huh. I just feel like all of these guys in the back are basically just... No. Look at them. They're just constantly spamming things out, but they're not really doing anything. I think they're too far back. They're just spamming out buffs. I think if they were, like, midfield, they'd be more inclined to actually hurl, like, some evocations at the mix, which might actually... I mean, they got stuck here for a while. That might actually have made the difference. Well, I mean, not made the difference, but done some damage. As it is, I don't know how much damage is actually going to be done. Still, these Sentinels are all really buffed up right now, so... There we go. The storm ends. And as the storm ends, we just get a shit ton of flyers completely surrounding everything. This could be a thing, though, because now people are actually blade winding. But a lot of them are pretty fatigued out at this point. Yeah, this is just gonna be a slaughter, I think, now. Those Sentinels are very thick, but they're not thick enough to deal with something like this. Not for long enough to have the mages win out. I say that, and then they're just stuck here like this for an extended period of time. Holy shit. But they are slowly but surely being whittled down. All right. Let's see. That was 237 units from Agartha, 20 Golem Crafters, 5 Oracles of the Ancients, 7 Olm Sages, 5 Adepts of the Iron Order, for 27 units on Naba's side. That's hard. that's hard to lose this much, especially mages and all these sentinels, and just get so little out of it. And really, what you got out of it, right? Like 27, almost a third of that were thralls. Like, you got 3 Adite elites, 2 forest giants, a single hill giant, 3 Heens. Okay, like 10 of the Janguard, no mages. That feels bad, unfortunately. Yeah, that feels bad. I think honestly the majority of it is just how far behind Agartha probably is on research. I do think that being placed this far in the back was a problem. It just made it to where, like, in this midsection, the storm was really good, right? Because we know Naba is doing a whole lot of flying, right? So the storm is really good to keep them having to just run into the gate. Holding the gate is really good, but... And they have some stuff, right? Like, they have, what was that? Magma bolts, blade winds, that type of stuff, right? Like, those aren't going to be phenomenal, but they're going to do something. The magma bolts might not do very much, unfortunately, actually. Because they don't do a lot of damage. Or, sorry, not the magma bolts. The blade winds don't do a lot of damage. But if they were, like, more in the midfield, I think, like, a lot of these guys just get stuck buffing. But, you know, they kind of do that anyways. It's just I really, really wish that there was a way to guide off-script casting. I think I've seen people talk about a mod for it recently where basically you can select a type, you know, like offensive, defensive, that type of scenario. If you select offensive, it gives more weight to, you know, anything that can damage the opponent, that type of stuff. I don't want to script every single spell for 100 fucking turns of combat. That would be annoying and incredibly frustrating. But I would love to be able to be like, hey, I have 6 levels in evocation and 3 levels in this other thing. Please stop casting the super low fatigue spell from this other thing and occasionally cast the higher fatigue spell from this evocation tree, right? Like, being able to select something like offensive, defensive, supportive, healing, whatever, however they're kind of like sectioned out, would be really, really nice. And in instances like this, I think would actually make the difference, right? Because there's enough mages here, I think, that if the majority of them after the script, if the majority of them were for those like 5 turns that the gates or the breach was held, if they had been casting offensive spells, I still don't think they would have won. I think they're still too far behind. But if that had happened, then I think this could have been like, you know, 50 to 100 losses instead, which is quite a bit more punitive towards Naba at this point in the game. I just think it's something that would be good for the overall health of the game, just to be able to like give a mage some sort of weighted guidance on what they're casting as you after you get done with the script. I've also seen like concepts of So weighted guidance with the idea of like general stuff like picking a tree, right? Picking conjuration, picking evocation, picking enchantment, right? Being weighted in that way, or being weighted in the idea of offensive, defensive, fatigue, what summons, right, etc., etc. Those are all good weighted concepts, and then you categorize all of the spells within them. But then I've also seen, right, like the idea back and forth of being able to pick like a favored spell or something like that. So you're like, I want my astral guys to be soul slaying or enslave mind, right? So you pick that as their favored spell, and then it's like heavily weighted past that point. I want my death guys to horde of skeletons cast, and so you pick that as the favorite, and it gets heavily weighted, right? I've seen discussions on things like that. I think anything in that vein is going to be better for the concept of the game, as it's not taking away the randomness of how battles work, but it does help allow you to influence things. Because I know we've all seen scenarios where you have the tools to win a fight, or you have the tools to turn it into an incredibly Pyrrhic victory, which could win you the war, if not the fight, right? But then your mages just decide, hey, I'm not gonna cast the thing that could do that. I'm gonna instead favor this low fatigue spell that is gonna do nothing, right? Like fireflies. I'm gonna cast fireflies repeatedly when the enemy has fire resistance, and it's going to do fire resistance / high protection, and it's gonna do no damage, right? That is something I think would be really good for the game. But big fight there. We also get hit. No, this is not us. We don't get hit here. This is man getting hit. They win. They got a bunch of monks here. Decent amount of PD. These Logrian wise men. The magma bolts. Yeah, they win. Okay. So loses 3 monks. Did we get hit? Okay, so this was the other thing. Well, I kind of skipped over this. So this is where our Etten, Mandragora, and Dryad Hags get routed to from the magic phase from their god. And so Dryad Hags are going to get popped. How does our Etten Mandragora do? He does okay. He does okay. He does okay. He does not. That is one of those, instances where the game shows us he could have won that, but he did not win that. So he actually does get routed and killed. He routes off of, if I remember correctly, he routes when the Dryad Hags die. Or it might have been like he takes some damage right after the Dryad Hags die, and then he routes. But this does show that scenario of like, it was possible for him to win against something like this, but in this particular instance. Anyways, we are under siege in Monarch Woods, in Imicton, and in Shade Forest. We're pretty close to the end here, right? Like, we barely have any Dominion left. We're probably gonna get Dom killed maybe before we get actually killed. We're still trying to kind of like preach out this place, but I don't think it's gonna work. depending on how that goes next turn, what it's looking like, we might just march this army out at Imicton, and just be like, okay, well, we don't want to just straight get Dom killed, so let's fight with whatever we have left, type situation. So we'll see about that. We're continuing to move people around to try to watch battles in Pyrene versus Ulm, in Agartha versus Nabah. The Vanarus versus Abysia is basically over at this point. Is he actually dead? No, but I don't know where they're. Oh, here. We got one, and we are headed that direction. So we're gonna try to keep eyes on all of that stuff. We are popping out of Faraway Sea to attack Sylvania again, just because it's something that we can get to, and I'm pretty sure if we go to Watronia, we're gonna get intercepted and die. So we're just trying to kind of like maneuver around. There's only so much damage that we can do with stacks like this. He's gonna magic phase us or catch us, so is what it is. We'll try to troll around and see what we can do, and go from there. That's pretty much it. Gonna try to keep eyes on big fights, see what we can do, and go from there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.